Hi everyone, it's Helen here. Today I will be making bánh quẩy or bánh giò chéo quẩy, fried breadsticks. It's a Chinese-influenced snack that is also very popular in many Asian countries, including Vietnam. After many failed attempts trying to make this snack, I decided to pay a visit to a vendor in Vietnam in order to find out how it is actually made. I ran into this street-side food cart on a hot summer day in Saigon. It's really hot here, especially when you stand next to a wok of hot oil. And this man stands here whole day, every day. So I hope you don't mind the fact that he didn't have his shirt on. He's a Chinese Vietnamese who has been selling this snack for the past 45 years. He was very friendly and didn't mind me filming his work. He said this snack is technically very difficult to make, so even if he showed me, I won't be able to replicate at home. After rolling the dough into half centimeter thickness, he sliced it into small rectangular pieces, making sure that it was an even number. After that, he dipped a bamboo skewer into water and gently pressed down in the middle of each dough piece lengthwise. He did that for just half of them and then stacked the other pieces on top to form pairs. Then he used the same skewer to again press down the middle of the pieces on top, lengthwise. After that, he picked up each dough pair, stretched it out, and carefully dropped into the hot oil. The dough floated to the surface within a few seconds and puffed up into the shape of fried breadsticks that we normally see, like magic. Easy as it looks, it's not at all a piece of cake when you make it at home. If you've tried making it before, you know what I mean. It's very difficult to make the fried breadsticks that are hollow in the center. But today I'll give it one more try. Let's begin. For this recipe, you will need 500 grams all-purpose flour. If you also live in Germany like me, you type 550. For that, you will need about 250 to 300 ml water at room temperature. Check the size of your flour package. If the protein percentage in your flour is about 10 to 11%, you will need 300 ml water. If it's lower, then you will need less water, so adjust accordingly. Place 5 grams baking powder and 10 grams baking soda into separate small bowls. Take out from the water that we already measured 50 ml water into each bowl, that is about 3 tablespoons each, and stir well to dissolve. Make sure you dissolve the baking soda and baking powder in separate bowls first and not mixing them together. These are the chemical leavening agents that will help our dough to rise. There's another raising agent that you can use to make the fried breadsticks crispier, and I will talk more about it later in the video. Because it's difficult to exactly measure flour with cups, so I recommend you using a scale if possible. Make a hole in the middle and add a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of sugar. Then pour the liquid from the small bowls and the rest of the water into the hole. Mix that up with a spatula until the flour absorbs all the liquid. Then knead with your hand for just about 1 to 2 minutes until the flour comes together and form into a dough. You don't want to over-knead the dough, so it's better to knead by hand, but if you do use a mixer, just process for about 30 seconds or so. When it just comes together like this, the surface of the dough still looks very rough. That's alright. Cover with a piece of plastic wrap or a damp cloth and let it rest for 20 minutes. Take a piece of paper and make a dash and place on top of the dough. It will remind us that the dough is resting for the first time. 20 minutes over, Remove the cover and knead the dough for 1 to 2 more minutes. There's not much work involved in making this dough. We just have to wait 4 times for the dough to rise, and we just have to be there when the waiting time is up. After the second time kneading, the dough has become smoother, but still not 100% smooth. Pinch the edges together and cover and let it rest for another 20 minutes. This is the second time resting. After 20 minutes, take out the dough and repeat the process one more time. Kneading for 1 to 2 minutes. The surface of the dough will become very smooth. Then cover and let it rest for 20 minutes for the third time. After the third time resting, knead the dough for a few more strokes. Then roll it out into a flat disc about 1 centimeter thick. Then cover with a damp cloth and let it rest for 2.5 to 4 hours. That means it's better to wait 4 hours, but the waiting time should not be shorter than 2.5 hours and should not be longer than 4 hours. After 3 to 4 hours resting, remove the cover and roll the dough into 0.5 centimeter thickness. Then cut into 3 to 4 inch bands. And then slide each band into 1 inch strips. If you're making this alone, you should finish slicing and forming the cakes before deep frying. Then just follow the instructions of the vendor I showed at the beginning of the video. Dip the bamboo skewer into water and press down in the middle of the strip lengthwise. Then stack the other pieces on top to form pairs. Depending on the size of the wok and your preference, you can cut the dough a little longer or shorter. Use the skewer to again press in the middle of the pieces on top lengthwise. Another critical task of making the breadsticks is to get the right temperature of the frying oil. It should be 180 degrees Celsius or 360 Fahrenheit. That's when it bubbles steadily when you stand a dry wooden chopstick in the center of the wok. Gently pull both ends to stretch the piece of dough out lengthwise and carefully drop it into the hot oil. It will float to the surface within a few seconds. Then use a pair of chopsticks or thongs to constantly flip the dough over and over. This helps the dough to expand and puff up. Because I'm not as professional as the vendor, I have to fry one at a time. When stretching the dough, I have the tendency to press the both ends too tight. So I have to use the chopsticks to separate it a little so that the dough can expand evenly. Make sure you use enough frying oil, at least 2 inches deep, and heat it to the right temperature. Keep flipping until it turns golden brown. Then place it on the rack to let the excess oil drip off. The rack I'm using is just an add-on to the wok. You can buy it separately. I will put the links below where you can buy it. Again, it might look very easy, but it will take you a few tries to get it right. It will be very disappointing when the dough doesn't puff off. I've been through it, so I know the feeling. I've tried out many other recipes, but this recipe I'm sharing with you here is the one that possibly gives you the best results. When you fry your first few pieces and they don't pop up, then you should stop. Just cover the rest and let them rest for some more time. Hopefully they will pop up after resting a little more. When they do pop up, they just look so pretty. If I have any other advice to give you, that would be please respect the recipe until you can master it. Do not change the ingredients, the measurements, and the waiting time. Just follow it exactly and you will get the same results. You can eat it just like that as a snack, or eat it with rice porridge, cháo, or dip it in noodle soups like phở or bánh canh. They go perfect together. Freshly deep-fried breadsticks should be slightly crisp on the outside and hollow inside. If you want them to be crispier, use 5 gram baking soda and 5 gram baking ammonium to replace the baking soda and baking powder in the recipe. Baking ammonium is also a chemical raising agent that is traditionally used to make these kinds of fried dough. In Vietnamese, it's called bột khai because it's quite smelly like urine. The smell will disappear when you deep fry it, but you will smell it when you make the dough. In German, it's called Hirschhornsatz. It's used to make some traditional German gingerbread called Honigkuchen or the Lebkuchen. If you make bánh quẩy with this, you will get almost the same result as in Vietnam. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to receive email every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye!